I am standing in my empty living room right now, staring at the bare walls where our wedding photos used to hang. 12 years of marriage. 12 years I thought were built on love and trust. Diana and I met at a gallery opening in Capitol Hill, fell hard for each other, bought this 2-story house in Ballard, with dreams of filling it with laughter and memories. We had weekend brunches at local cafes, hiking trips to the Cascade Mountains, quiet evenings with our golden retriever Jasper. Everything felt right, solid, real. But maybe I was too blind to see what was happening behind my back. Everything started changing last March, and by the time I realized what was going on, I was already standing at the edge of losing everything. Before we dive into what happened next, I would love to know where you are listening from. Drop a comment and let me know your city or country. And if you are settling in for this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because what I am about to share will show you that sometimes you only realize your own worth when you are standing at the edge of collapse. You will see how I went from being a trusting husband to someone who had to fight for everything he built. So stick with me through this journey. My name is Cornell. I am 34 years old, and I work as a civil engineer for a construction company here in Seattle. It is a decent job, stable, pays around $85,000 a year. Nothing fancy, but enough to build a good life. Diana, my wife, well, my ex-wife, now she was 32. She worked as a freelance interior designer. Talented, really talented. Clients loved her. She pulled in about $60,000 a year, though it was not always consistent. Some months were great, others were slower. We met 12 years ago at this art gallery opening in Capitol Hill. I was not really into art, to be honest. My buddy Tyler dragged me there. But the moment I saw Diana standing by this massive, abstract painting glass of wine in her hand, laughing at something her friend said, I knew I had to talk to her. We hit it off immediately. 2 years of dating later, we got married in a small ceremony at a vineyard in Woodinville. It was perfect, intimate, just close friends and family. We saved up and bought our house in Ballard about 8 years ago. It is a nice 2-story place, nothing extravagant, but it was ours. We had a mortgage, sure, a big one, but we were managing. The neighborhood was great. Tree-lined streets, good coffee shops close to the water. We adopted Jasper, our golden retriever, about 5 years back from a rescue shelter. That dog became our kid in a way. We never had children. Diana was not ready, and honestly, I was okay waiting. We had time, or so I thought. Our life was comfortable. We had our routines. Saturday morning farmers market run, Sunday hikes if the weather was good. Movie nights on the couch with Jasper sprawled between us. I worked regular hours, usually home by 6. Diana had more flexibility with her schedule since she worked for herself. Some days she would be home all day sketching designs. Other days she would be out meeting clients or visiting project sites. Looking back now, I can see I took a lot for granted. I assumed Diana was happy. She never complained much. We had our little disagreements, sure, like any couple, but nothing major. Nothing that made me think we were in trouble. I thought we were solid. I thought we were building something lasting. But then March happened. It started small. Little things I did not think much of at first. Diana began staying out later. She would say she had client meetings that ran long, or she was meeting up with her designer friends for drinks to network. I did not question it. Her job required that kind of socializing, right? I wanted to be supportive, not controlling. She also started paying more attention to her appearance. New hairstyle, fresh, highlights, a whole new wardrobe. She joined a gym and started going 4 or 5 times a week. When I complimented her, told her she looked great, she would just smile and say she wanted to feel good about herself. I thought it was healthy. I encouraged it even. Her phone habits changed too. She started keeping it face down all the time. She would take calls in the other room or step outside. If a text came in while we were having dinner, she would glance at it and then flip the phone over quickly. When I asked who it was, she would say work stuff, nothing important. One evening in late March, I was sitting on the couch watching a Mariners game when her phone lit up on the coffee table. She was in the kitchen, making tea. I glanced over, not snooping, just a casual glance. The notification said it was from someone named Brandon. The message preview read, "Cannot wait to see you tomorrow." My stomach tightened. I did not recognize the name Brandon. When Diana came back with her tea, I asked her casually, "Who is Brandon?" She did not miss a beat. "Oh, he is a new client. Really successful tech guy, needs his penthouse redesigned. Big project. He seems pretty friendly for a client," I said, trying to keep my tone light. She laughed it off. "Cornell, relax. That is just how people text nowadays. It is professional." I wanted to believe her. So I did. I pushed the uneasy feeling down and went back to watching the game. April was worse. The late nights became more frequent. One Friday, Diana came home at 11:30 at night. I was still awake, reading in bed. She smelled like wine and some cologne I did not recognize. Not her usual perfume. Something heavier, masculine almost. "Where were you?" I asked, trying not to sound accusatory. "Out with some friends from the design network. We went for drinks downtown. I told you about it this morning, remember?" I did not remember her telling me, but maybe I had forgotten. I let it go. The next day I was scrolling through Instagram, procrastinating on some yard work, and I saw Diana had been tagged in a photo. It was from the night before. She was at some upscale bar downtown, standing next to a tall guy in an expensive-looking suit. The caption from her friend said, "Great catching up with this crew." I zoomed in on the guy next to Diana. He had his arm casually draped near her shoulder, not quite touching, but close. Familiar. I clicked on his profile. Brandon. His bio said he was a tech entrepreneur, founder of some startup that had recently been acquired. Lots of photos of him at conferences on yachts in exotic locations. And then I scrolled further back and found old photos. College photos. Photos of him and Diana. Together. Arms around each other. Kissing in one of them. Brandon was not just a client. He was Diana's ex-boyfriend from college. My heart started pounding. I felt sick. Why had she not told me? Why did she lie and say he was just a client? I confronted her that evening. I showed her the Instagram photo. "Why did you not tell me Brandon was your ex?" She looked annoyed, not guilty. "Because I knew you would overreact. It is ancient history, Cornell. We dated in college for like a year. It has been over a decade. He is just a client now. That is it. But you lied. You said he was just some tech guy. You did not mention you used to date him." I did not lie. I just did not think it was relevant. Are you seriously going to be jealous of someone I dated when I was 20? I am not jealous. I am confused why you would hide it. I am not hiding anything. You are being paranoid. We argued for an hour. She kept turning it back on me, saying I was being controlling, that I did not trust her, that I was making a big deal out of nothing. Eventually, I backed down. I did not want to be that husband. The insecure one. The one who could not handle his wife having male friends or clients. But the feeling did not go away. It festered. By early May, our sex life had completely dried up. We had not been intimate in over a month. Every time I tried to initiate, Diana would say she was tired, or she had an early morning, or she just was not in the mood. I tried talking to her about it. She brushed me off, said it was just stress from work. But I knew something was wrong. I could feel it in my gut. The distance between us was growing, and I did not know how to close it. Then came the night that changed everything. It was a Wednesday. Diana told me she had to go to Portland overnight for a big client presentation. She would be back Thursday evening. I said okay, told her to drive safe, kissed her goodbye. She left around 3 in the afternoon. That night I could not sleep. Something felt off. I got up around 8:30, went to my laptop and logged into our shared credit card account. We had always been transparent about finances, so we both had access. I was not snooping, I told myself. I was just checking, and there it was. A charge from earlier that evening. A boutique hotel. In downtown Seattle. Not Portland. My hand started shaking. I stared at the screen, refreshing it, hoping it was a mistake. But no, the charge was real. The hotel was 10 minutes away. I did not think. I just grabbed my keys and drove. I parked across the street from the hotel and sat there in my car engine off staring at the entrance. I did not know what I was doing. I did not have a plan. I just needed to see. At 9:45, I saw Diana's car pull into the parking garage entrance. My heart sank. So she was here. She lied. She was not in Portland. I waited. I did not know for what. Maybe for her to come out alone. Maybe for some explanation that would make sense. At 10:45, the lobby doors opened. Diana walked out. She was not alone. Next to her was Brandon. They were laughing about something. He said something. She playfully shoved his shoulder. Then he leaned in and kissed her on the cheek. She smiled, said something I could not hear, and walked toward the garage. I sat there frozen. I watched her drive away. I watched Brandon get into a Tesla and leave in the opposite direction. I do not remember driving home. I just remember sitting in our dark living room waiting. Jasper came and sat next to me, sensing something was wrong. I scratched his ears and stared at the door. Diana came home just after midnight. She walked in, saw me sitting there in the dark, and jumped. "Jesus, Cornell, you scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark?" I turned on the lamp. "How was Portland?" She hesitated for just a second. "It was good. Long day." "I am exhausted. Did the presentation go well?" "Yeah, really well. I think we landed the project." I nodded slowly. "That is great. Which hotel did you stay at?" Another hesitation. The Heathman." "Why the Heathman in Portland?" "Yeah." I pulled out my phone and showed her the credit card charge. "Then why does our credit card show a charge from a hotel in downtown Seattle?" Her face went pale, then red. Then she got defensive. "Were you tracking me? Are you seriously checking up on me like I am some kind of criminal?" "You lied to me, Diana. You said you were in Portland. You were at a hotel here with Brandon. It was a business dinner. It ran late. Brandon booked a room because he had an early meeting downtown the next morning. I met him there to go over the design plans. That is it. I saw you. I drove there. I saw him kiss you." Her eyes widened. "You followed me. Oh my God, Cornell. That is insane. You are stalking me now." He kissed you. On the cheek. It was a friendly goodbye. "You are blowing this completely out of proportion. Then why did you lie about Portland?" She did not answer right away. She just stared at me, and I could see her brain working, trying to figure out what to say. "I did not want you to overreact." "Which, clearly you are." "I am overreacting. You lied about where you were. You were at a hotel with your ex-boyfriend. How am I supposed to react?" She exploded. "Maybe if you paid more attention to me instead of your job, I would not have to find someone who actually listens to me. You have emotionally neglected me for years, Cornell. Years. And now you want to act like the victim." I was stunned. Emotionally neglected. I worked a normal job. I came home every night. I was present. Or at least I thought I was. We screamed at each other until 2 in the morning. She never admitted to cheating, but she never denied her feelings for Brandon either. She just kept deflecting, blaming me, making it seem like I was the problem. Finally, she grabbed a blanket and pillow and went to sleep on the couch. I sat in our bedroom staring at the ceiling, feeling like my entire world had just shattered. The next 2 weeks were hell. We lived like strangers. We barely spoke. She continued going to work, coming home late. I stopped asking where she was. What was the point? She would just lie anyway. I suggested marriage counseling. She refused, said it was not necessary, that we were just going through a rough patch, that I needed to stop being so paranoid and controlling. But I was not stupid. I knew what was happening, so I started documenting everything. I took screenshots of text messages when she left her phone unattended. I noted the time she came home. I saved the credit card statements, showing charges at restaurants and bars I had never been to. I called my best friend Tyler. We had known each other since college. He is a divorce lawyer now, ironically. I told him everything. He listened without interrupting, and when I finished, he said, "Cornell, I am really sorry, man, but you need to prepare yourself. If she wants out, she is going to take you for everything she can. Washington is a community property state. She is entitled to half of everything you both accumulated during the marriage, regardless of who earned what or who did what. Even if she cheated. Even if she cheated. Washington is a no-fault divorce state. Infidelity does not factor into property division." I felt sick. Tyler continued, "But if you can prove she has been hiding assets or wasting marital money on her affair, that is different. That is called dissipation of assets. You might be able to claw some of that back." I started digging deeper. I went through our shared cloud storage, emails, documents, anything I could find, and I hit gold. There were emails between Diana and Brandon going back to February. Flirty at first, then more explicit. They talked about their feelings, about how they had always regretted breaking up in college, about how they wanted to be together now. But more importantly, I found an email where Diana mentioned she had transferred $20,000 from our joint savings account into her personal account to invest in some business venture with Brandon. I had no idea. She never told me. I checked our savings account. Sure enough, $20,000 was missing, transferred out in mid-March. I also discovered she had opened a credit card in her name only and racked up about $15,000 in charges, expensive clothes, jewelry, dinners at high-end restaurants. All things she had been doing with Brandon, I assumed. I called Tyler immediately. He said, "That is dissipation. She used marital funds for her affair. You can absolutely use that." I felt a small glimmer of hope. Maybe I was not completely powerless. Then, on a Friday night in late May, Diana sat me down. She looked calm, resolved. "Cornell, I want a divorce." I had been expecting it, but hearing the words still felt like a punch to the gut. "Is it because of Brandon?" She did not flinch. "Brandon and I have reconnected. We have feelings for each other. I do not want to live in a loveless marriage anymore. I deserve to be happy. Loveless." The word stung. "So you are leaving me for him?" "I am leaving because I am not happy. Brandon is part of my future. You are not." Then she slid a piece of paper across the table. It was a handwritten list of all our assets. The house valued at $600,000. Our savings now $70,000. After her secret transfer, retirement accounts, even the furniture. "I have already talked to a lawyer," she said. "Washington is a community property state. I am entitled to half of everything. I want to sell the house and split the proceeds. I want half the savings, half the retirement accounts. I think that is fair." I stared at her in disbelief. "You cheat on me, steal our money to fund your affair, and now you want half of everything." "I did not steal anything. That money was ours. And infidelity does not matter in Washington divorce law. You can look it up." She was so cold, so matter-of-fact, like she had already moved on, and I was just an obstacle to deal with. I did not say anything. I just took the paper, stood up, and walked out of the room. I called Tyler that night. I was shaking with anger and heartbreak. He came over and we sat in my garage going through everything. "She is right about the community property," Tyler said. "But she is wrong if she thinks she can just take half after what she did." We filed a motion in court to freeze the joint accounts and investigate the transfer of funds. I provided all the evidence, the emails, the bank statements showing the $20,000 transfer, the credit card statements showing $15,000 in charges for her affair. When Diana got served with the court papers, she called me furious. "How dare you? You are dragging this into court. You are going to humiliate me." I stayed calm. "You cheated. You took our money to be with him. And now you want to take half of everything I worked for." "No, that is not happening. My lawyer said I have every right to that money. Your lawyer does not know about the dissipation yet, but she will." I hung up. Tyler was incredible. He argued in front of the judge that Diana had deliberately wasted marital assets on her extramarital affair. The $20,000 transfer, the $15,000 in credit card charges, all of it was documented. The judge ordered Diana to account for every dollar. Her lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia, tried to fight back. She argued that Diana had a right to spend money, that it was not unusual for someone to invest or make purchases. But the evidence was overwhelming. The emails explicitly mentioned the affair. The charges were all at places she went with Brandon. There was no defense. On top of that, I had another card to play. When we bought the house 8 years ago, I used $40,000 from an inheritance I received from my grandfather for the down payment. Tyler argued that this was separate property, not community property, and I should be credited for it in the division. Patricia tried to counter that it had been commingled with marital funds and lost its separate character. But Tyler had the documentation. The wire transfer from the estate. The escrow paperwork showing exactly where that $40,000 went. The judge agreed. That $40,000 was mine. After 3 months of legal back-and-forth depositions, mediation sessions, we finally reached a settlement. Diana had to compensate me for the $20,000 she transferred. She also had to reimburse half of the $15,000 she spent on the affair, $7,500. I kept the house. I refinanced the mortgage to buy out her share, but because of the credits I received for the dissipation and my separate property, the amount I paid her was far less than half the equity. The savings and retirement accounts were split, but again tilted in my favor after adjustments. In total, I saved about $120,000 compared to what Diana originally demanded. She had to move out immediately. I kept Jasper. That was non-negotiable for me, and she did not fight it. I think she knew the dog loved me more anyway. I heard through mutual friends that Diana moved in with Brandon. Apparently, their relationship started falling apart a few months later. Brandon was not interested in anything serious. He just liked the thrill of the affair. Once it became real, once Diana was actually available and living with him, he got cold feet. She ended up moving out and renting a small apartment on her own. I wish I could say that gave me satisfaction, but honestly, by that point, I did not care anymore. The first few months after the divorce were finalized were hard. Really hard. I went to therapy to process everything. The betrayal, the lies, the feeling of being completely blindsided by someone I trusted. Tyler and my other friends were amazing. They checked in on me, constantly dragged me out of the house when I was wallowing, reminded me that I was going to be okay. I threw myself into work. I got promoted to senior engineer with a significant raise. The extra money helped with the mortgage now that I was paying it solo. I renovated the house, repainted the walls, got rid of furniture that reminded me of Diana, made the space mine again. It felt good, cathartic. I joined a hiking group and started going on weekend trips to the mountains. I met new people, made new friends, people who did not know my story, who just knew me as Cornell, the guy who loved the outdoors and had a goofy golden retriever. Speaking of Jasper, I adopted another rescue dog about 6 months after the divorce, a scruffy mutt named Maple. Jasper loved having a buddy, and honestly, coming home to 2 wagging tails every day made the house feel less empty. I started dating again after about a year. Nothing serious at first, just coffee dates, dinners, getting to know people. I was cautious. I did not rush. I had learned my lesson about ignoring red flags. I met a woman named Laura through the hiking group. She is a nurse, down-to-earth, funny kind. We have been seeing each other for a few months now. It is slow, and that is okay. I am not in a hurry. I am just enjoying getting to know someone who is honest and present. Looking back now, I can see that Diana's betrayal, as painful as it was, actually freed me. I was in a marriage that was not healthy. I just did not want to see it. I wanted to believe everything was fine because admitting it was not felt like failure. But I learned something important through all of this. You cannot let people take advantage of your kindness. You cannot be so afraid of conflict that you ignore your own instincts. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Standing up for myself in that divorce was not about being vengeful or bitter. It was about protecting what I had worked for. It was about not rolling over and letting someone who betrayed me walk away with everything. I do not hate Diana anymore. Honestly, I barely think about her. I am indifferent. She made her choices. She has to live with them. I made mine, and I am better for it. I am grateful we did not have kids. As much as I wanted them at one point, I am relieved now that I am not tied to her forever through children. I get to move forward cleanly. I have learned that sometimes what you lose in life is actually the door opening to something better. I lost a wife, but I found myself again. I rediscovered what I am worth, what I deserve, and what I will not tolerate. And that maybe is the most valuable thing of all. If you are going through something similar, please hear this. You deserve to be treated with respect and honesty. You deserve a partner who values you. And if someone betrays that, do not be afraid to stand up for yourself. Do not let guilt or fear or the desire to avoid conflict stop you from protecting what is yours. You are stronger than you think. And on the other side of that pain, there is peace, there is growth, there is a life that is truly yours. So let me ask you, have you ever had to stand up for yourself in a difficult situation? Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? I would love to hear your story. Drop a comment below and share your experience. It helps to know we are not alone in these struggles. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Your support means everything and helps us keep creating content that matters. Thank you so much for listening, for being here, and for being part of this community. I wish you all peace, strength, and the courage to choose yourself. Take care.